Hello, and welcome to today's session on solfege. What is solfege? Solfege is a system of communicating note names, pitch, and interval relationships. It is not enough just to know the names of notes. So if I gave you C, D, E, F, G, you wouldn't know how they sound. But if I gave you Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, and sang it, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, not only would you know the names of the notes Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, but you'd also know how they sound. Do, Mi, So. Solfege also allows you to understand the interval relationships according to how they sound. So if I sang Do, Mi, I know that they would be a third apart. Or if I sang Do, Fa, that's a fourth apart. Do, So, that's a fifth apart. So solfege allows me to understand the names of the notes, the pitch, as well as the intervallic relationships. There are two systems for solfege, the movable Do as well as the fixed Do. But for now, we'll just use and stick to the fixed Do. What it means is that when you see the C on a treble clef, it will sound as a Do. If you see a D on the treble clef, it will sound as a Re. The pitch will not change, and that's why it's called the fixed Do system. Here are some basics for us to understand uh, modern notation or reading music notation so that we can progress through the contents for the rest of today's session. This is known as the treble clef. The treble clef tells us where G is, or so that's the note on the second line from the bottom. This is known as the bass clef. The bass clef tells us where Fa is on the staff, or Fa. As you can see, the note F or Fa is the second note on the second line from the top of the bar. Why do we have treble clef and bass clef? Let us look at the keyboard. This would be how a piano would look like. And there are many C's and many D's and many E's and F's and G's. So how would I know which Do is being written on the score? If you look at the treble clef, you'd be able to see the middle C, which is C4, as the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, and they would correspond with the keyboard. This Do is also shared with the bass clef. And if I move down the piano keyboard, I'm actually moving down the bass clef notation. So this is the T. Ti, La, So, Fa, Mi, Re, Do. And this would be the Do for this C. So actually, on a choral score, you will find about 2 octaves written on each of these clefs. Why 2 octaves? One octave is usually handled by the altos, and the other octave is usually handled by the sopranos. And on the bass clef, 2 octaves also are usually written. One, usually the comfortable range for the tenors, and the other, the comfortable range for the bass. So, having the grand staff, you would find that the music notation would be able to write about 4 octaves worth of notes for the choir to sing. This is known as a staff. The staff is a set of 5 horizontal lines and 4 spaces representing various music pitch. The note here is the sol or the G, and that's the pitch. So, this is also known as the bar. So this, if you were to see this on your score and a number appears here, this means this is bar number 4 or measure 4. We've already looked at the grand staff and we've understood why there is the treble clef as well as the bass clef. And that is so that we can write down the notation to represent about 4 octaves of pitches on the keyboard.